on to our next palette. This is my super granulating palette. I think this tin is great for my super granulating. I call it my texture palette. It's got a lot of colors in it. We're going to take a look. We're going to swatch these out. They're kind of in groupings, but not in any kind of order like I normally order my palettes. I'm trying to swatch all my palettes out for you so that you can see all the colors. I think there's only 2 left, maybe 3 after this. So, and that'll go along with us doing our color battles and so forth. So I hope you continue to stick with me on some of this fun stuff. So let me get the swatch chart out and we'll get us started. All right, this is a monster chart. There was so many pigments on so many of these colors that I feel that while I swatch them out, I can say what is in them so that you can hear the pigment information, and we can go ahead and go through them a little better like that. My palette is a little off kilter here. So we have Urban Red, PY159, PR108, PB35, and PBR6. So I got a little fuzzy in there. And I will hold these all up a lot closer so that you can see them a little better once we get them all swatched out. It's kind of nice to see them on a big range so that you can compare them as they're being swatched out. And we'll be using a lot of water on these. I figure if I put down all the pigment information, it was just going to kind of cloud it up and we might not be able to see as much of what's actually going on with the pigments. So next we have Urban Green, PY159, PB36, and PBK11. Hopefully with me puddling them like this, we'll be able to see some granulation and how the colors, if there's separation and all that kind of good stuff. Urban Brown, PY159, PR108, and PBK11. It's kind of nice because in this big binder that I have going here, this is all my palettes, and in another one I have all of our color battles, and so I'm making this awesome reference. Now we have Urban Gray, PY159, PR108, PB35, and PBK11. Now we go into Shire Yellow, PY159 and PB62. Now I don't have all the Schmincke super granulating, but I have, I'd say, quite a few. The majority of these are from that, and then I have a few Rembrandt in here as well. Now we have a Shire Olive, PY159 and PB25. This one's interesting with how it separates from the yellow and the green. And now we go into Shire Green. If you like interesting greens, these couple, they're not extremely potent, but they are really interesting. Then we have Shire Blue. I'm trying to give it as much chance as I can to kind of separate. And then we have Shire Gray. We have Desert Gray. Talk about a difference between the grays right there. Desert Green. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you the pigments on a couple of these. This Desert Gray was PY 150 and PBK 11, and this gray was PY 159, PB 74, and PBK 11. And I'm not sure if we did this one. PY 159, PB 29, and PG 26, which was the Shire Blue. So sorry about that. I'm trying to do my swatches, talk at the same time, stand up, hold the brush, you know. It's one of those. And this is Desert Green. This is a weird one. It really does some kind of separation here between a red and a green. Really interesting. Desert Brown. Oh, and that one was a, PR 108 and PG 26. I'll get the hang of this reading, talking bit. Desert Brown, PY 159, PR 108, and PBK 11. If you have a few of these colors, you can make quite a few of these yourself. I've seen quite a few people make some super granulating colors themselves. Then we have Desert Orange, PY 159 and PBR 38. And Desert Yellow, PY 159 and PBK 7, PBK 7. I can speak, or I can read at the same time. Keep getting that bubble. There we go. And we're on to Deep Sea Green, PG 18 and PB 29. And this one is very vibrant. That drop might have been a little too big for that tiny square to handle. Deep Sea Blue, PBK 11, PB 74, and PB 75 it looks like. I'm trying to read my handwriting on a really small little swatch card here that I have them written on. And that's what I didn't want to do with these swatches. I didn't want to have all that writing in our way for seeing them. So Deep Sea Blue. That's why I couldn't read it too well, is because this is a very dark color. So hopefully I gave you the correct pigments on this one. Forest Blue, PB 36 and PBK 11. Some of these colors are just really beautiful. Whoever came up with the combos on. Forest Green, PG 19 and PBR 33. This one is pretty opaque. Trying to get it to where we can see what's going on with it. Galaxy Violet, PR 233 and PB 29. can see the blues and the violets separating in this one. Galaxy Pink, PV16 PBR33. I love this one. Galaxy Brown, PV62 PBR6. Galaxy Green, or Glacier Green, sorry. Glacier Green. Glacier Brown, PBR6, and PG26. This one's quite opaque. It's a heavy one. It doesn't even want to take the water a little bit there. Tundra Violet, PB29 and PBR... It's a dark one. Sorry about that. This one's very rich, very dark. Tundra Rose, PB29 and PR233. Tundra Green, PBR6 and PG19. This is another very opaque. All right, hopefully we can see that one split up. Now we come to Urban Yellow. Sorry, I have it distance. It's different in the palette than it is on my swatch sheet in front of me. And PY 159 and PB 16. Moving right along, I had an extra spot in this palette, so it got a little Yintico red. Originally when I got this color, I was looking for a spot to put it, and I had filled up a half pan, and this is where it went. It probably won't forever stay here. And since then, it has gone in other palettes, just not in a half pan. So then we have Rembrandt Green. These Rembrandt ones are really pretty. And this is their Granulating Pink by Rembrandt. And then we have the yellow also. Then we get into a Volcano Yellow, PY 159. This one wants to be a tiny bit harder to re-wet. Not sure exactly why. Out of all of them so far, that was the only one that kind of rebelled. Then we have Volcano Orange, PR 108, PY 159. Yeah, it seems like all the volcanoes are kind of giving me a tiny bit of the other ones were just like, yes, please paint with me. Sorry, I have a little dusty on there. Volcano Red, PR 108. This one's got a little more kick to it. Then Volcano Violet, PV62, and PR108. Yeah, for some reason these Volcano ones, they're a little harder to. I think that one's going to separate out for us. Be real pretty. And we have Volcano Brown. Haze Pink. Looks very gray in the pan. PR233 and PB36. This one's very interesting. This one is incredible. Haze Blue, PY43, PB29, and PBK7. Haze Indigo. Oops, I touched that yellow. See if we can stop that in our tracks there. Haze Brown. And last but not least, we have Haze Black. And let me read you a couple of those pigment colors that I can see. Haze Black was PG36, PBR33, and PBK11. And Haze Brown, PBR7 and PBK11. Wow, that is a pretty bunch of colors there. Very, very pretty. If for some reason I missed a pigment or I screwed it up or something like that, please let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to look something up for you and correct myself. Let's let these dry and we'll take a much closer look at each the couple of rows and see what we think. There they are dry in all their glory. Some of them are just granulators, some are granulators and separators. And let's take a nice close look. Let's see if we can make sure we're in focus. I'll point out ones that I think are really interesting. The Shire Green is really interesting with how much yellow and green both come through. The, let me see, which one is that? The Desert Green is really interesting with the red and the green that comes in there. This one, the Volcano Brown, really interesting. The Haze Pink, really interesting. The Rembrandts are really granulating and super interesting, although I think all they do is add black to theirs. I'd say the weakest ones out of the group are the Volcano. The colors are vivid. The Volcano Violet is also really pretty. The Volcano Brown as well too, but the yellow and the orange are quite weak. Actually, all the yellows are kind of on the weaker side when it comes to the super granulators, so they just don't have that extreme pop. I'd say the Desert Yellow is probably one of the most potent ones. But they all have a lot of granulation, and this is kind of my texture palette that I kind of bring out when I want to add and do rocks and do some kind of grainy look to something. I tend to like a smoother look overall, and I do have some paints that granulate in my palettes. They're just not the heavy duty ones like these ones are. So I hope maybe this chart or this swatching helped you say, no, I don't need that, or yes, I so need that one, and kind of saves you a couple of dollars if you've weeded out a few of the paints that you thought were great online, but maybe they didn't paint out quite to your expectations. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.